Hey guys, this is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching. I'm going to review uh, the setups for one of our best trades today. Just do a basic trade count, what worked, what didn't work. I ended up with a 77.2% win rate, according to my little computer today. And we're just going to take this step by step to keep me honest and to keep the vision straight for what we're looking for on a day over day basis. Okay, so if we go look for the apex traps. So first, let's define for someone watching this video for the first time what a super trap is. So there's two components to it. I'm just going to define it really quick and move along. So here I've got to get to a place where we actually had one so I can show. And this is great. I'll start off with a loss and we'll work from there. So an apex has one of these little blue triangles. This right here, that is an apex. And so what I need to get a super trap is a formal close above, formal close above. Then I needed to close back into that apex on one bar. That would be the bar with the star. And then is risk management. So I enter at the top of this bar. So my entry is going to be 13, 9, 10, 50. We'll just use 10, 50 as an example. And actually it may not have stopped. So I'm going to use a 7-point stop on that. So 1750 would be the stop. And then I would need to make to 350 in order to scale. So, okay, so this is an important concept, right? If you took this trade, the idea is you're coming down, get your one-to-one risk reward off quickly, and then you either move your stop to true break even or to the original stop, which would have been the 1750. So in this case, you got your 7 points. You would have lost 7 points, net zero. But you'll notice, and I'm not going to leave a million lines, that you get the next trade right here. The whole key is having a tight stop and the ability to get the risk reward. So here's the next trade. Here's the close above. So again, I'm going to have a 7-point stop. So it's 20.70 and a quarter. So 27 and a quarter. And I got to tell you, in this case, when the high's right here like this, just put the stop at the high. So now you have a total risk of 4 and a quarter, right? So to get your one-to-one, you need 16 and a quarter. So you literally got it like in a split second. That's your one-to-one risk reward. And now again, you have to decide whether you're going to bring your stop to break even or not. Hold on one second here. So then you're going to come over here. Remember, you got your 4 points of risk off on this trade. I personally do not move my stop to break even, so my stop's sitting there at 24 and a quarter. And then you can look to the right, and actually my maximum favorable excursion on this trade. So, there's no guarantee that you're going to hold the trade or push the trade. You actually got a super trap down here. So let's just say you carried it from super trap to super trap, which actually would close you out right here, right? So if you did that, excuse me, you ended up carrying the trade from 20 down to 98.50. Okay, so that's 20 points on 4 points of risk. That's a 5-to-1 RR. Really huge, right? So the other thing you'll notice is there are stops sometimes, right? So if we go through this and you look, oops, didn't mean to minimize that. So this is just on AQ. Again, you will see here that you got an apex trap right here. So this is a borderline call, right? I would have ended up taking this trade, so I would have lost 7 points right here. So remember, I just ended up making 20 on the second half of my trade, right? This is a -7. There's no question in my mind. But I would have lost. It was 98. And it's either 7 points or the bottom of this bar. So bottom of this bar would have been exceeded it. So I would have been stopped out, right? And then you'll see that it now can't make a trap because it has to close in on one bar. So I'm going to go to the next setup, and you're going to see I'm going to get stopped again the first time here. So you do lose money sometimes. All right, so the apex trap is going to occur right here. And actually, I'm going to get my risk reward off on this. So just going down the line, closes here. So remember, when I close down here and stop, my stop's actually pretty super tight. It's going to end up being right here. So you got to realize by the time I tag that 84, my stop's only 3 points, which means if I get to 87 and a quarter, I now have my 1-to-1 risk reward off, and I moved all the way up to 94 from a 81 entry. That's 14 points with a 3-point stop. So that's over 4-to-1 risk reward. The whole point on this is that you're moving through. We're not trying to constantly grab 3 and 12 points. But you do have to realize if you can make your stop as tiny as possible, your risk reward will explode in your favor, and it's much easier to make money. So in this process, I would have left trailers here. I would have gotten stopped on my trailers for a net 0. All right, so I'm going to close this out. And then my next trade is going to take place right here. Actually, I take it back right here. I've got to have the little blue triangle underneath to get the trap. My entry is going to be again at 84.75. This time it's 7 points or whichever's less, right? So that's 79 and a quarter. So I'm going to take the 79 and a quarter over the 7 points. So that means I'm going to end up with a 5.5 stop, which means I basically need 90. Let's just call it 91 to get my 1-to-1 risk off. All right here, 1-to-1 risk is off. And you can see in this case, before it's set up for another short for a super trap, at the latest I would have closed it over here, right? That's at the latest. And so from an entry at 84 and a close at 20, that's right. An entry at 84, a close at 21, it's called 35 points, right? For what was a 5-point risk. That is a 7-to-1 RR on that trade. And so when you're going through the room and you're wondering, well, how do you get the RR? First of all, I may not get 7-to-1. You just got to be realistic, right? I've got to have the rest of the read in place so that I know that I'm going to get the trade. But the trade does repeat over and over again. The risk on the trade is relatively small, right? So you can get to your 1-to-1 risk reward quickly. And then your stretches can be significant, 50, 60, 100 points in the right market, maybe more. So you've got to think that process through and learn which ones are good and which ones are great, right? If we go to CL, much the same story today. CL was really good for the people who traded it. So CL requires a 7-tick stop. Really don't trade CL after 11. Let's just jump to 8:30. And again, the members in the room see this too, and they obviously know my Twitter handle, so I would expect that they would call me out if I wasn't describing the trade any other way than the way we take it in the room. Right, so here's the open. I'm going to leave that alone. Just did a regular trap, no super trap. That's a different trade. The first super trap occurs right here, so let's get rid of these lines. And if you look at this, here's trap number 1. Stop is 7 cents or the bottom of the bar. In this case, 7 cents was going to do it. And the most it went in your favor before coming back was from 77.50 to 77.88. That's 30 cents. With 7, that's about a 4-to-1 risk reward after you've gotten your initial 7 cents off the table. Now, again, I'm going to address this. Your ability to get the stretches is entirely incumbent on you, right? There's no magical way I know that it's going to stretch for 30 points or 30 cents or 50 cents or a dollar. You've got to be able to read the market as you're pushing along. So as you come over here, so this little rip here is 30 cents. And if you come over here, this is your next trade. You get a clean close underneath. You're going to enter at 71.39. Again, you're going to get your 7 cents off. And in this case, so I would have been out right here at the latest, even if I was trying to push it with that trap there. I would have been out. And let's see, that would have ended up being a 71.88 on that, because there's a super trap over here, right? That's another super trap. And so my entry would have been 71.39 to 71.88. That's roughly 40 cents. And so again, you're getting a beautiful risk reward out of the trade. There's no setup. Oh, I take it back. There actually is. Your next trade is here. This is a break-even trade. This is a super trap right here. You get your 7 cents off, but you get stopped if you try to push it. And then here's your next trap. Up, goes above. Your entry is right here, and you clearly got another 3 or 4 to 1 RR. And then as you go through the day, this is a 7 cent stop right here. That is a valid trap. And then if you look at your next long, it doesn't occur here. Your next trap actually occurs right here. This is a break-even trade. This doesn't trap. And your day is essentially over at that point. So that's NQ, that's CL. I'm not going to do ES because I'm tired. I'm just going to leave it on the table, but it was another successful day on Team TnP using super traps. If you'd like to visit the room, there's only a few spaces available. It is not cheap. Let me tell you right now. It's $279 a month. If making money is important to you, you'll pay it. If you can. If you can't, you won't, right? That's just a lot of work goes into figuring out these setups, and I'm happy to share them, but I'm happy to share them obviously at a price. And the way you get a hold of me is right there. Email me at tradeandperform@gmail.com if you're looking for a true edge in your day trading, and you either want to get an account qualified through Apex or Top Step Trader, or you're well funded and you just need to be consistent. I believe our process offers a path to accomplishing that in a relatively short time frame and in a repeatable, high risk reward process. Anyways, have a great evening, guys. I'm tired. I'll see you later. Have a good night.